I'm Anna. I am a student and an actor producer from Tunbridge Wells, and my connection with the Hospice in the World is that I lost my dad in 2011, and he spent the last 6 weeks of his life at the Hospice in the World in Pembury. Yeah, so my dad was a very funny guy. He was known for being very caring. He was a teaching assistant at sort of all the schools in our local town, so he got to know everybody. And he was very kind, very warm-hearted, and I think he sort of always cared about family, and we were all very close as a result. He had lots of brothers, we had a big family, so yeah, we really cared about each other and we were very close as a result. My dad knew that he was going to pass away. He was given about 1.5 years, 2 years with the cancer, and as a result he really wanted to make the most of that time. And as I said, he was a teaching assistant at our local school, so all of the teachers basically donated a load of money, and he managed to take us all away on holiday. Like, each of us had an individual holiday. So my mum went to Jersey, my brother went to Tenerife on a bit of a lad's holiday, and he took me to Disneyland. So for me, I think probably Disneyland is a really special memory for me. Because it was kind of a bittersweet weekend. We kind of knew why we were there, but it was kind of, let's just have fun whilst we're here. Dad and I used to watch a lot of trash TV, and I remember sitting in his room, and I used to crawl into bed with him and still watch that same TV. I remember, I think we watched a few Waterloo Road episodes, which I still watch to this day because it's a great series. But we still got to sort of do those things together. And I think that was the normality of it. And a lot of people visited Dad, a lot of people from home. So it was a really familiar space for me. I just remember moments of, like, my first parents' evening without Dad. Mum and Chris came instead, and it was a really powerful time. And I was thinking, oh, my brother is here at my parents' evening. It's not called brother's evening. Yeah, so he was 19 at the time that Dad died, and he, in that year that we had with Dad at the end of his life, he, as I said, dropped out of uni, became a full-time working man, which he hadn't had before, and he used to drop me off at school. He used to pick me up from school, and that was never a thing. That was a kind of job of the parent, and he cared for me a lot, cooked me dinners, and he used to take me out to the cinema a lot more, and it was kind of things that we do as treats. Like, we call it to this day B&S time, brother and sister time, but things like that we do quite rarely became all the time. I realised that he kind of put his teenager life on hold, and he became that father figure to me. If the hospice weren't involved, it would have been a lot harder to cope with what was happening. My dad was getting more ill every day, and we really would have struggled if my dad was in a place that wasn't as welcoming or available to us, and we could really be supported in that space, and the staff and the volunteers had time for us no matter what time of day it was. And I think that also my dad had really enjoyed his time there. He often thanked the nurses that he was with, and he liked the food and he was just really happy there, and he said that he was very peaceful. So I think if we didn't have the hospice, it really would have been a lot more of a tough time for us and my dad. And I think the hospice really helped us get through it.